Welcome to Beyond Buzz. Imagine the ground roaring beneath you, not just a simple tremor, but a deep thunderous rumble that shakes the very foundation of your world. The earth splits open, smoke and ash billowing out, while people scramble for safety, their faces etched with fear and disbelief. Now, picture this chaos not as an isolated event, but as a chain reaction sweeping across the entire continent of North America. One eruption triggers another, and soon, a fiery line of volcanoes awakens, stretching from the Pacific Northwest down to Central America. 21 volcanoes once dormant are now erupting in unison, spewing rivers of molten lava and towering plumes of ash into the sky. The night glows red as fountains of fire light up the darkness, painting a scene of both awe and terror. This isn't a scene from a disaster movie, this is happening right now. Our reality is being reshaped by forces deep within the earth, and entire communities are feeling the impact. Scientists are working around the clock, monitoring seismic data and volcanic activity, trying to predict what will happen next. Families huddle together, watching the news, hoping for answers, and praying for safety as ash falls like snow outside their windows. Flights are grounded, airports blanketed in ash. Emergency vehicles race through deserted streets as entire cities are evacuated. The skies, once blue, are now choked with thick, dark clouds, blocking out the sun and turning day into night. Our daily lives are upended, and the threat is far from over. This is more than just a natural disaster, it's a wake-up call from the planet itself. Sirens blare, warning us to pay attention as lava flows threaten everything in their path. People look up, searching for hope in an ash-filled sky. Join me as we journey into the heart of this crisis, uncovering the truth behind these unprecedented eruptions. Together, we'll explore the science, the stories, and the resilience of those living on a continent set ablaze by nature's fury. It all began with Mount St. Helens, but this time, the awakening was far more violent and unpredictable than the infamous eruption of 1980. The ground trembled for days, sending waves of unease through the region. Scientists watched in disbelief as seismic activity spiked, warning of something catastrophic brewing beneath the surface. Suddenly, a deafening crack split the air. The sky, once clear, turned a menacing gray-brown as a colossal lateral blast tore through the landscape, flattening entire forests in seconds. Trees snapped like matchsticks, and the roar of the explosion echoed for miles. The Toutle River, once a peaceful waterway, transformed into a raging torrent of mud and debris. The lahar swept away everything in its path. Bridges, homes, and roads, leaving behind a trail of devastation and chaos. For the people living in nearby towns, it was nothing short of a nightmare. Panic spread as families scrambled for safety, watching in horror as the sky darkened and the world they knew changed forever. Ash began to fall relentlessly, blanketing the ground like a suffocating snowfall. The air grew thick and hard to breathe, forcing people indoors and turning day into night. Streets disappeared under layers of gray, and silence fell, broken only by distant rumbles. The eruption was a brutal reminder of nature's immense power and our own fragile existence. In the face of such overwhelming force, humanity seemed small and vulnerable, clinging to hope amid the chaos. And yet, as the ash settled and the earth continued to tremble, it became clear. This was only the beginning. The true extent of the disaster was still unfolding, and the threat of more eruptions loomed ominously on the horizon. As eyes were on Washington, Mount Redoubt erupted in Alaska. Volcanic bombs and steam explosions created colossal lahars, threatening vital infrastructure. The sky turned orange and airspace was shut down, escalating the crisis. The Long Valley caldera in California leaked deadly CO2 gas. Wildlife suffocated, trees withered, and the ecosystem suffered. This silent eruption signaled immense pressure beneath the surface. The supervolcano was stirring, a chilling prelude to potential catastrophe. Yellowstone's geysers erupted violently, creating a new crater. The ground deformed, rivers ran hot, and the park was evacuated. The magma chamber was swelling, a stark warning of potential disaster. The sleeping giant was stretching with terrifying consequences. Mount Rainier erupted, spewing ash over Seattle-Tacoma. Flights were grounded, and ash covered the city. The eruption highlighted the vulnerability of urban centers. It choked global travel and brought a metropolis to a standstill. The ash was relentless, a reminder of nature's power. The crisis was far from over. In Mexico, Popocatépetl erupted, forcing mass evacuations. Lava flows and ash threatened millions, including Mexico City. The military assisted in evacuations and air quality deteriorated. It was a humanitarian crisis, illustrating human vulnerability. In Oregon, a fissure eruption between the Three Sisters volcanoes, lava fountained and the volcanic system destabilized. Fast-moving lava flows consumed forests, creating a toxic haze. The crisis was escalating, reshaping the Earth's crust. Mount Hood's eruption caused glaciers to collapse. Lahars destroyed towns and contaminated contaminated Portland's water supply. The sky darkened, and ash coated the city. It was a lesson in cascading consequences. In Death Valley, the Ubeheba craters erupted unexpectedly. Scientists rushed to study the eruption, linking it to broader volcanic unrest. The desert eruption provided unsettling evidence of interconnected activity. The Great Rift in Idaho erupted, devastating farmland. Lava flows buried fertile land, impacting agriculture and the economy. The eruption sent shockwaves through the food supply chain. It was a reminder of volcanic threats in unexpected places. Mount Shasta's eruption triggered a massive emergency response. Pyroclastic flows threatened towns, and evacuations were swift. It was a test of disaster management and modern warning systems. Mount Cleveland's eruption sent ash and sulfur dioxide globally. The haze cooled the earth, affecting climate and agriculture. It demonstrated how a remote event could have global consequences. Near Flagstaff, Arizona, a Strombolian eruption created a new cinder cone. Heavy ash caused damage and respiratory threats. The eruption disrupted air travel and isolated the city. It was a lesson in the varied dangers of volcanoes. In Canada, Mount Garibaldi erupted, collapsing a natural dam. Floods and debris flows severed highways, trapping tourists. The eruption devastated the region's tourism industry. Colima volcano's eruptions in Mexico created a humanitarian crisis. International aid was needed as pyroclastic flows displaced thousands. It highlighted the need for global solidarity in disaster response. A fissure in Utah's Black Rock Desert caused infrastructural chaos. Lava severed railways, internet cables, and gas pipelines. The eruption exposed vulnerabilities in our interconnected society. Mount Baker vented steam and gases, signaling magma movement. Toxic emissions created hazards and acid rain. It was a slow-burn crisis with potential for catastrophic failure. Salton Buttes erupted, mixing toxic sediments with ash. The health crisis affected millions, with severe respiratory issues. It was a hybrid catastrophe, blending natural and man-made disasters. Mount Adams' minor eruptions tested new monitoring technology. Drones and AI predicted pyroclastic flows, saving lives. It was a leap forward in volcanic forecasting. Novarupta's eruption in Alaska disrupted shipping lanes. The supply chain was severed, causing shortages and economic shockwaves. The eruption threatened global trade and the salmon fishery. It illustrated economic vulnerability to volcanic events. Lassen Peak's dome-building eruption posed immense risks. The unstable dome threatened catastrophic collapse. Scientists monitored it closely, aware of the potential for disaster. It was a stark warning of future large-scale eruptions. Over the past centuries, 21 powerful volcanic eruptions have dramatically reshaped not only the landscape of North America, but also our collective understanding of just how vulnerable we truly are. Each eruption has left behind a story, one of destruction, survival, and adaptation. These events serve as stark reminders that the forces beneath our feet are constantly at work, shaping the world in ways we often take for granted. This isn't just a story about geology or distant natural disasters. It's about the resilience of communities, the strength of families, and our ever-evolving relationship with the powerful planet we call home. Every time we reinforce our homes, fill sandbags, or train emergency teams, we are writing a new chapter in our ongoing story of survival. The ground beneath us, which we often assume to be stable and unchanging, is in fact alive with energy and movement. It can shift, crack, and erupt with little warning, reminding us that our sense of security is sometimes an illusion. Instead of living in fear of the next eruption, we must focus on preparation. By packing emergency kits, reviewing evacuation plans, and staying connected with our neighbors, we can face these challenges head-on and reduce the risks to our loved ones. Awareness and respect for nature's immense power are crucial. When we observe these forces from a safe distance, we gain a deeper appreciation for the dynamic planet we inhabit and the importance of respecting its boundaries. Understanding the risks, having a clear plan, and staying informed through reliable sources like the USGS or local authorities can make all the difference when seconds count. Preparedness is not just a personal responsibility, but a community effort. The Earth has sent us a clear and unmistakable message in ash and fire. We are guests on a restless planet. Each eruption is a call to action, urging us to respect the natural world and to never underestimate its power. Every crisis brings with it an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. Scientists, emergency responders, and everyday people are working together to study volcanoes, improve safety measures, and rebuild communities with greater resilience than before. As the landscape heals and life returns, we are reminded of the power of hope and unity. Together, we can recover, rebuild, and look to the future with renewed determination. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the awe-inspiring and sometimes terrifying world of volcanoes. Remember, stay aware, stay prepared, and above all, stay safe.